Hello, I'm Peter Ndora. Welcome to Chalking. This is where we get talking about things educational. Are you a student? Are you a parent? Or maybe a teacher? Well, this is the channel that you want to tune into because we're going to be taking a look at education from different perspectives. Things like homeschooling, talking to maybe government and academics, people who might give us pointers about where education is going and how we can do it better. So, today we're going to be taking a look at the world of education in South Africa, the state of education. And to give us the lowdown is Paul Esterhuizen, who's the CEO of School Days. Let's get right into it. Paul Esterhuizen, CEO of School Days, thanks so much indeed for joining us.
You're welcome, Peter. Yes, good to be on the spot.
So, Paul, I don't want to sound alarmist, but I guess if we're going to start to explore things that need to change and things that can be fixed, we have to get a sense of where we are. And I just wonder, what is the state of play in terms of basic education, i.e. primary school and high school in South Africa?
Peter, at any given year, there will be more than 1 million children in each of the preschool years, in each of the grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, right through to our matric years. We have as many as 1 million students across the spectrum of all the schools. And we then have that fed into a system where so much mud has been thrown at the fact that our Department of Basic Education does not deliver. And in the sense of that, I'm saying, yeah, there are areas, there are pockets of excellence, and there are gross areas of neglect and inefficiency and challenge and difficulty. And we live with rural and urban schools that are light years apart in the services that are being provided. And the challenge of what we've got in education is to understand, how do we transform that? Everyone knows that the key to growth, development, sustainability is all around education. And where do we start with that? And it's been highlighted that we have a crisis in the shortage of teachers, which Department of Education will argue against and say, no, we don't. We've got enough teachers coming into the system. And yet deeper analysis says we're losing more teachers than what we're gaining. So there's an increasing deficit in the number of teachers. And then we also have a significant amount of our teachers who have been teaching for their whole careers are over 50, over 55 years old. And in the next 5 years, we'll be taking retirement packages. And there are some figures quoted there and cited that over half of our teachers are in that category. So, yeah, the crisis is, the transformation of education has to begin with teachers. And we need to understand.
So, Paul, if we are spending more than most countries, 6% of GDP, I believe, on education, where is the disconnect? Because we've got enough money, it sounds like, and yet other countries are doing better at this. Are we misspending? Or what's going wrong?
There's no quick fix. The what's going wrong is around saying, are we teaching and training enough teachers to come into the industry and paying them adequately? Because a number of them leave for more lucrative incomes and don't stay in the teaching profession, because who wants to teach in an overcrowded classroom where there's nothing being done to alleviate that? So yes, we're spending 6% of GDP is the number on education. And how is that cohesively being apportioned into our schools? One of the solutions that came around the turn of the century was pre the turn of the century, in fact, was when the education department said, create Model C schools. And the modeling there was around create a governing body that can actually manage the school and work with the districts. So this is not about, removing Department of Basic Education district controls or involvement, but it was around saying, how do you actually work together to enhance that and say, the key to a well-managed school is a school that's well resourced, well funded, gets parent involvement, gets community involvement, gets, in essence, also gets business involvement. Where are we getting it wrong? We don't have teacher training colleges, the likes of what we had 20 years ago, where people were encouraged, youngsters were encouraged to go and say, I want to teach, I want to be a teacher. Now, if you're saying that to them, go and teach, they're saying, I'll never earn enough money teaching. So the attraction is, we should be paying teachers more money than what we are paying them.
All right, so some of the things that you mentioned look like they're probably going to take a bit of time to fix. What are the short-term interventions that could yield results straight away?
So organizations like Kagiso Trust, the Ramaphosa Foundation, the Adopt a School Foundation, a lot of businesses have got behind things. Joe Public, the advertising agency, got behind a one school at a time strategy. And, the collaboration to say, how do you do whole school development? And the theory behind whole school development that's emerged from that. And the short, quick fix would be to say, let's do more whole school development. And what does that mean? Well, it means upskill teachers. It means resource adequately into those school environments. It means ensure that you're investing into upskilling the management of the school, the leadership in the schools. How do you pool all of that and find the way in which you create a healthy school environment? So all too readily, there's disconnect. There's shortage of funding. And none of this was helped with COVID, but we've moved through COVID. And, I do have an idea. I have an idea that we could all get behind this as business in South Africa. And if business in South Africa knew and could trust that the funds that they were applying could be adequately channeled into whole school development of a platform that could monitor, track, manage, and grow. It is, Joe Public didn't say we're going to change the world. They said one school at a time. We will do that. And that is the way to do that. And yet the two foundations I mentioned now with Adopt a School and the Kagiso Schools Trust have been for more than a decade and more than 2 decades in the case of Adopt a School, been actually doing this and getting there and making a difference and project managing and working with the districts and working with the basic education district to make it happen. So the shortcut is plow more money in. And where do we get more money? Well, you can't keep taking it out of budgets, but you need to say, how do you ensure the management of whatever more money comes in? And I'm saying, let's go to business. Let's get business involved.
All right. So I'm just thinking, COVID-19 thrust us full throttle into the digital era. And I wonder, can technology play a role?
It certainly can. It evidently can as well, because there is enough capacity in the demand side of what they're wanting. So we've got enormous demand to say, make me more technologically savvy. And then you've got to integrate that with ensuring that you've got the facilities to be able to roll them into schools. So private schools, the likes of the Curro Group and Advotech Group, the Spark Schools environment have all embraced technology at a rapid rate to be able to deliver into the school space. But education departments have struggled somewhat in, it's not about making it available. It's about utilizing it when you've got the availability, so that you don't just say technology is the solution and we've got this covered. It's deeper than that.
Okay, Paul, it's been great talking to you, my brother, and I look forward to future chats with you as we assess the state of education in our country and seeing, hopefully, improvements over time. Thanks so much indeed.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, Peter.
Okay, that was Paul Esterhuizen, CEO of School Days, chatting to us about the state of education in South Africa. And it's not a great picture, but it's not impossible to fix. And one of the fixes is going to be investing in our teachers, in skilling them and also paying them properly. That was Paul Esterhuizen. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. And those are the kinds of conversations that we look forward to having more and more often. Just in case you want a particular person on the show, please write in the comment section below. Tell us who you want to see and the kind of questions you want us to pose to them. There's a few people that I've lined up already that I'm looking forward to talking to. Mlungi Singh Kosi, who loves teaching maths and science online, and we'll be chatting about some of the challenges that he faces, but also why he's got a winning formula. And we'll also be talking to FedSats, and that's the group that looks after school governing bodies, and SADTU, the teachers union, because teachers really at the heart of all of this, aren't they? So don't forget as well, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button, because that way we can grow this channel and it can be more and more what you want to see. Till the next time.